Today we are going to talk about the functional testing techniques under the system testing. But before that, us have a quick glance on what all things we have covered in the previous lecture. So we were talking about your test management automation. We were talking about the types of testing, and then where we looked into all these parts, we then looked into the system testing, and we talked about some of the myths, and along with that we also talked about the things which are involved in your system testing, along with some basic definitions on system testing. We also did a comparison of your integration testing versus your system testing, where we prior studying this system testing, we were all dealing with integration testing only, where we said that okay, let's look for the interfaces. Let's test it now. So we also saw the difference between your system integration testing versus the systems testing, where we said that okay, this is something which is like, once again, we are talking about integrating and testing the interfaces. On this side, I am testing the entire system as a whole, and then we looked into the details of the testing, system testing, and we also talked about your functional and your non-functional testing as well. Then afterwards we looked into various testing aspects in context with your functional and non-functional testing. Then we talked about some of the non-functional testing techniques, where we talked about your performance testing, load testing, scalability, reliability, stress testing, interoperability, and localization testing. Probably the localization testing was the last topic in our discussion in our last class. So we looked into the performance testing part. We talked about your load testing. We talked about your scalability testing, portability testing, stress testing, then your interoperability testing. Then we looked into the details of localization testing, where we said that okay, we are also going to talk about I18N, which is your internationalization testing. And then we looked into the details about all these localization testing techniques, and the services and the people involved in this localization service or localization testing and its various aspects. And today we are going to talk about the functional testing techniques under the system tests, where we have like your design and architecture verification, right? Architecture is something which is a high level design, right? Prior to your design documents, we come up with the architecture, and it's like we get a blueprint, and we need to test this particular thing as well. Then we need to also go ahead with business vertical testing, right? So for that I need to have the domain knowledge, and then we have like deployment testing and your beta testing. Then we have like several certification standards and some testing for the compliance. So what we have is, we have like design and architecture verification. So your test cases are checked against the designs and the architecture, and this basically ensures the completeness of the product implementation. So what we do is, we do one-to-one mapping of the things which are provided in the design documents and the architecture, and we try to verify, and based on that we take a call that okay, whether the product is complete or not. So we do one-to-one mapping based on the listings which were there with the design document, and that particular part is well tested here. This is something which is necessary. The reason being, the blueprint gives you the clear cut idea, right? And in this, we validate and verify in order to ensure that the architecture definition satisfies the requirements and the various constraints, right? So we verify and we validate as well, right? We validate the architecture as well. So basically, architecture validation is something which is a very essential component of your software development life cycle, and the reason being that it ensures the successful implementation of the continuous architecture, and your architecture validation becomes the part of the process which these days is broadly used by IT groups to ensure your software quality, right? We are talking about verification and validation, so obviously your software quality will come into picture, and the architecture review knowledge plus your reference materials plus some of the trained resources, these things are like readily available, so it's better to validate it, right? So this validation will deal with like not only the technical issues, but the main aspect is that since the business drivers are a key force in shaping an architecture, so there also we take a call on all these aspects as well. And your architecture validation focuses on, right, the entire product, so it becomes very crucial, and even we take a call on it as well, that when to conduct this architecture validation. And you know what we do is that the entire design, because the piece of code will be analogous to the design which was provided, right? And basically your functional system test focuses on the behavior of the complete product, right? So that's why we need to go ahead with this kind of design and architecture verification and validation as well. Then the next thing is we have like business vertical testing, right? And if we talk about, let's say, let me throw some more light on this architecture verification. So if suppose the system is critical, then this verification becomes very crucial, right? This verification of architecture becomes very crucial in that case. And even in case of let's say a system which is dealing with financial transactions, right? So there also it becomes very important to validate and verify the entire architecture. Now so let's talk about business vertical testing. So in this, from the term itself, you might have got some idea that we are going to talk about what is various business verticals, and for this I need to have the domain knowledge, right? So in case of loan management, let's say I need to know the entire process. What is the role of a clerk? What is the role of the scribe? What is the role of loan manager? What is the role of regional manager, and so on and so forth. If there is any requirement of regional manager in processing the loan, probably might be, that depends on what kind of business rules a particular bank or NBFCs are going to follow. So basically it is the use and testing of the product for different business verticals. It can be like insurance, it can be banking, it can be asset management, and we verify the business operations and the product usage. And it is desirable that product understands your business processes and includes the customization as a feature for the efficient use of different business verticals. Your business vertical testing is done through various scenarios, right? So it would be like I have the scenario and then I go ahead with testing. So your business vertical testing, you can say, is basically a process in which your product being used and is tested for different verticals. And so it would be like, let's say I have to open a bank account, so and let's say it's an online bank account. So in that case, what we do is that I'll fill the I'll fill the form And now let's say I have submitted a form and uploaded the required documents for opening an account, saving account on the portal. And now let's say whosoever is the online in charge takes a look on it and looks for various supporting documents and accepts it and takes forwards the application online to the higher authorities, and then my application gets approved. Now, so if suppose I have to test this product which is for, let's say, online opening of a bank account, in that case, if suppose I am not aware about the various business verticals and how the entire process takes place, then it would be tough for me to, frankly speaking, it would be tough for me to test the entire product. Let's say if suppose at present I have no idea about various RBI guidelines in, let's say, opening a bank account, so for let's say NRIs, so in that case I cannot test that particular product if suppose I have to go for business vertical testing, because I need to have the domain knowledge for the same. So in that case I need someone called as domain experts. Even you will see there is another category of domain testing as well, where we need domain experts as well. Here domain experts means the people who have the idea about the domain plus the technical knowledge as well. So in case of your business vertical testings, where we look for features or the aspects which can be included in a product, like customization plus technology and syndication. So in case of customization, it's important that the product understands the business processes, and it includes the customization as a point, so that different business verticals can use the product, right? So your different business verticals can use the product, and with the help of this point, a general workflow of a system is modified in accordance to the specific business verticals to make a match, right? So we take care of this customization part as well. Then what we have is terminology. So let's consider an example where we have, let's say, an email services. In this email service, your email is sent in a loan processing system, and that particular part is, let's say, called as a loan application. So after sending this thing, an email is sent in the insurance context and can be known as, let's say, a claim. Now the user can be familiar with this terminology rather than the basic terminology of an email. So the user interface should reflect these terminologies rather than use basic terminology emails, right? So if suppose I have, let's say, I know if I am dealing with the term redeem, that means I am trying to redeem something. It can be your points, it can be your units, like mutual fund units, or it can be the entire savings or any amount, right? So that kind of terminologies we prefer. And the next is your syndication. So basically, it is to be noticed, like not all the work demands the business verticals, and which should be done by your product development companies, but even the solution integrators can look for this. Your service providers pay a license fees to product companies and sell the products and solutions having their name and image, right? A product should give features for those syndications in the product, and they must also be tested as a business vertical testing. So what basically means is that let's say I have a product P where a sub product P1 is integrated, and that is provided by someone else, right? Even in case of banking services, not everything is owned by the entire single software company. There will be a components or series of components of products or sub products that would be from a different company. In that case, in case of business vertical testing, I also need to test the functionality of that particular part, and whether it is also in a custom to, or it is in sync with the entire business and your business logics plus the business domain. So that particular part is also included and tested, right? So syndication, so whatever I am including, that should be a part of it, that should be tested. Anything and everything which is a part of my software product should be tested properly. Now next is your various ways to do business vertical testing, right? The point arises that, okay, we are talking about business vertical testing, but the thing is how to actually test it, right? How to actually test it. So in that case, what we have is, like, we have simulation as an option, right? So testers basically assume the requirements and they test the business flows. This is in case of simulation. And another option is like replication, right? So in your replication process, the client data, that means the customer data, and the process is obtained and the product is completely customized and tested. So I get some raw data to fire in and I can go ahead with testing the entire product. That's how product means here I am dealing with your business vertical testing. So business vertical testing is basically, you know, something which is a very crucial part of your software testing. And in this case, if suppose I need to go ahead with replication part, that means my customer data and the entire process or even the complete product, I can obtain it, I can customize it, and I can go ahead with testing the entire product as far as your business vertical testing is concerned. So like the general purpose product, like I can have workflow automation, and these things can be used by different businesses and services. So for business vertical testing, like testing such products can be for different business domains as well, right? So the reason being, let's say I have an MIS application, and that is for, let's say, 5 different universities. So each different university will have some different business logics. Business logic here means some academic different rules. Pointer criteria might be different. Someone might prefer to take, let's say, 2 mid-semester. Someone might prefer to take 1 mid-semester. And then I can go ahead with testing the entire product. But for that sake, if I have made the customized product, so for the entire business vertical testing, I need to test each for based on the different universities. Right. So basically, you know, a general purpose product needs to have provisions for being able to create and manage users for different processes, some associated rules, some related users, or maybe some other products as well. So for that case, I need to go ahead with this kind of thing. Now, next is your deployment testing. So in this, what we have is basically we assume that by the time system testing for a product begins, your information on its prospective customers and configurations used by them would be known. So it becomes possible that the product might have been committed for sale in certain cases, and thus it would be fruitful to test the product and get a positive response from such customers, because this would enable and enhance the market value of the overall product. So deployment testing is carried out keeping such customers in mind. So it would be done on a fully functional product, and will test the working of the complete product from one end to other. And this indirectly will also test the interoperability, because it would be like deployment. I have deployed it, so I'll also test whether it is interoperable, and plus on the platform on which it is running, it is working fine or not. And if possible, as I said, customer may be involved in testing based on the needs. Now, so what we have is, we have like two options. One is your off-site deployment testing. Another one is your on-site deployment testing. So in some sense, we can say that this thing is basically, this is a last testing phase before the product delivery. And we can also say that this is the right time to test the product for those customers who are waiting for it. Right, so we have like offsite and onsite. So let's see the details about offsite deployment testing. So this is the deployment testing which is done on a product by the product development company at their workstation. Right, offsite, that means at their workstation, to ensure that customer deployment requirements are met. Right, so it can be a simulated testing, and carried out at product development company and lastly, it's like a first attempt in ensuring customers' deployment requirements are met or not. Right, this is about offsite, because it would be on at the product development company, right, at their workstations, just to ensure that customers' deployments requirements are met or not. Next is your on-site deployment. Next is your on-site deployment. So basically, it is done after release of the product by utilizing the resources and setups available in customer's location now, because we have moved our product to the customer's deployment. So basically, we can say on-site deployment and user acceptance testing in some sense are same. You can categorize it, right, because here only in the user can accept it, right? So that kind of also feature is there, because if suppose my end user is, or the user for whom we are developing a product is technically sound and is ready to accept it, we can go ahead with the user acceptance testing based on this on-site deployment testing as well. So what we do is we conduct it after the release of the product. We utilize the resources available at the customer's end, right? we utilize the resources available at customer's end. Though considered to be the part of the user acceptance testing, but is conducted by your system testing team. Alright, it is conducted by your system testing team. So there are various stages of on-site deployment testing. One is stage 1, where actual data from live system are taken, and this is conducted on machines that mirror the actual, or maybe in stage 1 are taken and similar machine and configurations are mirrored, right? And this operations from the users are rerun on the mirrored deployment machines, and in this case your intelligent recording devices that record the transactions happening on the live system and replicate them on mirrors can be used. In another stage, your mirrored system is made live system that runs the new product. Regular backups are taken from the time mirrored system becomes live. So this is basically done after the success of stage 1. So after success in stage 1, your mirrored system is made live, and from the time onwards till this stage 2 is over successfully, we take regular backups. And the incremental transactions are recorded from time to time. Also, the transactions and system state at this time is preserved in order to go back to the old system in case of some major failure is detected. In case of some major failure is detected, then we go. And if suppose no failure is detected after an extended period, the deployment testing is considered successful and your old system is replaced completely. That's how we go ahead with this. Now next is your beta testing, right? And so the beta testing slide, I have deliberately left it blank because many of the times you might have observed that the products are launched and are in beta mode, right? Recall some days back JioMart was launched, and till today this website JioMart and the app says JioMart beta, right? So basically what we do is that in this case the product is launched, and based on the customers' inputs and feedbacks, we improve the product. And why it is done so is that many times the products fail to meet the customer's need, and the reason being that significant amount of time is involved in product development, and since this time is involved, but the customer's need keeps on changing, so it becomes very important to continuously involve the customer and get his feedback in order to minimize the risk. And this beta testing helps in this particular thing, right? So why we are going ahead with beta testing? One is that customer needs are changing. right? And it is important to get the customer's feedback. And this thing helps in minimizing the risk as well. Risk means of not accepting the product. So basically beta testing is one such way of sending the product under the test to the customer and invite the feedback, right? That's how we launch this program. So what we do is that in beta program, various planned activities are conducted during this entire phase, and this phase is called as your beta program. So some of the activities involved in this beta program are like collecting the list of customers, their requirements, and what all the customers are expecting from this particular product. Then working on a schedule and informing the customers about the entire product, sending the documents well in advance and training the users, testing the program to ensure that it meets the beta testing criteria as well, then finally sending the beta program to the customer, then on a regular basis collecting the feedbacks. That means periodically I'm collecting the feedbacks, responding to the feedback with fixes or the change in the documentation, analyzing whether the product met the exit criteria or not, then communicating the progress to the customers, and formally closing the beta program. See, because a product is in beta version for a fixed specified duration of time, right? Your Chrome was in beta program for an year or two, right? Similarly, just this JioMart, I can see that still it is in beta version. So they are continuously collecting the feedbacks and bringing those, incorporating those appropriate changes, right? So basically, when all it will for a specified period, this beta program will run, right? This beta program will run for the specified period, and then all the changes and the feedbacks will be incorporated, whatever the company finds appropriate, and then the final product will be released. Now there are like some challenges in the beta testing. Like one is like timing, means when to send the product. Then we have to motivate the customers with the constant communication as well. And then we need to choose the number of beta customers as well, because the target audience will be, or maybe the sample size of that particular thing will also matter, that for whom all we are making this thing available. Like for JioMart, I think it's open for the entire India. It's in beta mode, but it's open for the entire Indian customers. Right, so this is all about beta testing. Then another thing is like we have like certifications, standards, and then testing for compliance. Here also I have left this thing open for the discussion. The reason being, I have I thought I'll cover it in detail. So when we talk about certification testing, so basically your product needs to be certified to be compatible for use with the popular hardwares, popular OS, popular database, right, and so on and so forth, right? So that's why we need to get the certification, and not only properly working with these current versions, but a commitment for working with future version will be required. So certification provided by certification agencies will provide the automated test suites for the testing compatibility. Product development organization runs these suites and rectifies the problems, and the product is then tested again by the agency before the final certification is provided. So basically we'll have a testing agency, right? Even like for India, even for the hardware products, like we have like ISI for right. Then we have right for so ISI for long duration. ISI used to be there for every products which we used to purchase. We used to look for ISI mark, which is like standard compliance mark for the industrial products. Then we have like hallmark, right? Hallmark is basically for gold. So we go ahead with product certifications. We get the ISI mark or the hallmark based on, and there are for food, I think it is FSSAI. So for different products we have several testing agencies. Based on that, we go ahead with the certification part as well. Now next is after certification we have standards and the compliances, right? For testing, obviously. So in order to be able to interact with the other products, a product needs to adhere to certain standards defined for associated technology areas, and information regarding the standards adhered to is provided in the release document for the benefit of the customers. Then your products may need to fulfill certain legal requirements sometimes based upon the domain they are related to. For example, like all the transactions in banking applications need to be audited, right? So banking transactions, so any financial transactions need to be audited. Failure to meet these requirements can bring sometimes the legal actions as well, right? Many times, you might listen to the news like RBI imposes fine on certain banks for not following this and that. These days, American Express is not allowed to issue new credit cards. The reason being some data storage policy is not met with what RBI says. Then sometimes HDFC was also facing the same, but HDFC is not allowed to issue the new credit cards. Then so testing for adherence to these requirements is sometimes also provided as a third party services as well. Now, so these are some of the references from where I took some help, right, in order to come up with this discussion. And in the next discussion, we are going to talk about performance testing. That's something also we have thrown some light, right? How to test it, what all things will be available with us. So that particular part we'll study in detail in our next video.